Welcome to the Jopra Show on 1150 a.m., your alternative talk radio. I'm Joe Janot, and it's Thursday, August 23rd. And folks, today of all days, we brought in the big dogs of the Jopra Show. We are going to talk a lot today about food, of course, but not just any food. It's Barbecue Thursday. We are slapping around ribs, we're eating sausages, and we're getting serious. And on that same note, you can't have a Jopra Show without somebody big time. And I brought in the grand poobah of the Supersonics. That's right, my main man, Slick Watts, is going to be in the house today. We are going to get down. We're going to talk basketball, Sonics. And without that, got to bring his son into the game. So I brought in my main man. We go way back. Mr. All-American himself, Donald Watts, is going to be in the show today. And we're going to get right with the Watts family. But first and foremost, my main man, Eric, what's happening, my brother?
Hey, good afternoon, Joe.
How you doing? How was your weekend?
It was great. I had a great weekend.
Dang, I'm with you. You know what I did this weekend is I grabbed my wife and the itty bitty, and we went to Ballard, and we just sort of had a Ballard get down.
Ballard's a fun place to hang out.
Man, I had no idea that there was that many people who would hang out in Ballard. I mean, it was full. We were at the Bitterroot, Kick and Boot. We were with the Sexton. We went down to have some Mexican food at Hawaka, but that line was too big, so we didn't get to eat there. But, man, we had a great time in Ballard. And I'm telling you, if you're going to go to Ballard, bring your A game, because there is phenomenal restaurants happening there, and that's why I got these people in here today from the Bitterroot. I brought in Hannah and Grant Carter, and after break, we're going to get down and talk barbecue with them and get serious here on the Jopra Show. But first and foremost, Eric, last weekend I went to the Tequila Fest.
How was it?
Oh, my goodness. Not good.
Not good?
No. Folks, you ever been to Tequila Fest? Right away, you got to bring your face, because it's serious. I ate a big meal before I got there, and then I knew too many people. So it was Joe, try this. Jopra, try that. Jopra, try this. Before I knew it, I was 9 shots of tequila down. I started texting my wife, come get me. Send me alarm.
See, this sounds like a great time.
I was going down quickly, and it was only like 2:30. It wasn't good. It wasn't. But no, the Tequila Fest was awesome. Devin McGill and his group did a phenomenal job, and they're going to bring it back next year, and I definitely recommend that you do that. But look, let's go to break real quick, and when we come back, I'm going to introduce you to the folks who are kicking off the Bitterroot, and they are doing a phenomenal job, and they're in studio today on the Jopra Show on 1150 a.m. KKNW. We'll be right back.
For home repair, remodel, and construction advice, ideas, and stories every Saturday at 10 a.m., tune in to Constructing Whatever. With over 40 years of combined experience, hosts Tim and Lynn talk about whatever, from important need-to-know topics to fielding your questions from the latest industry news to humorous stories from the job site. Start your weekend project day with us on Constructing Whatever.
This week, the cool sounds of smooth jazz. Saturday at 10 a.m.
If you love dogs, tune in to The Dog Show with Julie Forbes, live every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. We'll talk about everything dog and interview authors, experts, and amazing organizations, both locally and nationally. And don't even get me started on the pet food industry. I'm Julie Forbes. Find us online at www.dogradioshow.com and also as a free podcast on iTunes. The Dog Show with Julie Forbes, an evolved perspective on life with dogs.
Conversations Live with Vicki St. Clair discusses issues that are important to you, like good health and well-being, finding a new job and building your business, overcoming life's big challenges and making sense out of chaos, and living with passion and joy. Join us Mondays at noon Pacific for Conversations Live with Vicki St. Clair. See conversationslive.net for show schedule and guest information.
Want to hear something different from talk radio? The choice is clear. Alternative Talk 1150 AM.
Welcome back, folks, to the Jopra Show. Joe Janot in studio today. And, folks, man, we are here to talk barbecue. And for you know me, You know how much I love my barbecue and fried chicken, of course. But folks, to talk barbecue, I found this great little restaurant that's opened up in January up in Ballard, and man, they're doing some phenomenal things. And I've been there 3 times, and I was very blessed that they answered my email to come on the show. And so in studio today, I brought in Hannah and Grant Carter from the Bitterroot Barbecue. Welcome to the Jopra Show.
Thanks for having us on.
Well, hey, first off, congratulations. Opening a restaurant is a big, big thing, and man, success. Congratulations. So, Grant, where did it all come from? French cooking to what? Barbecue? What?
Just something I enjoy doing on my days off, and wanted to get out of the fine dining scene a little bit.
Right.
Doing something more that we enjoy doing every single day. That was a joy to come to work every day.
I got you. And so were you guys at the house up in Magnolia and going one day, I got this smoker, honey, what do you think about us opening up a barbecue? I mean, Hannah, where did it all come from?
We've been doing fine dining for a long time,
Right.
passionate about food, but certainly barbecue and street food are what we prefer to eat on our own time. So we've been messing around with that at the house for a long time.
Nice. And so then when the space came up, were you guys already looking for a space, and they said, hey, look at this, or what?
Yeah, we've been looking for about a year and a half probably.
Right.
And we'd seen a lot of spaces. We knew Ballard was really the area that we wanted to be in. And this space came along, and it just seemed like the perfect fit. It was a perfect location.
Why Ballard? Ballard's fish, man. Fish town. People fish up there. All of a sudden, barbecue. What made Ballard be the spot?
Because of the neighborhood feel,
Okay.
certainly family friendly.
Right.
Definitely a change of pace from kind of Capitol Hill or some of the downtown locations that we've been working in. We wanted to be a family barbecue neighborhood spot.
Right.
Ballard is a perfect fit.
Great spot. One of my wife and I ate there on Saturday night. We had a phenomenal meal. And then I sent my other partner down there. Lisa Martin's in the studio today. Lisa went down to the Bitterroot last night. What'd you think?
Mouth-watering good.
Oh.
Couldn't get enough.
See, and the great thing about the Bitterroot, folks, if you haven't checked it out, man, it's just a small little spot. They got the dining room up front, kitchen's in the middle, so when you run by, you can say, look, Grant, hey, give me some food. And then Hannah's working the floor with her upbeat personality, which is great to see. And then they got this little bar in the back with a whole bunch of just folks just chilling. Now, tell me about this bar. Most time, everywhere in Ballard, you'll have that bar up front, or it's big, but this little cozy little thing. What was your thought on that space?
It was exactly that. We wanted to be, we're a dining room and a restaurant first and foremost, and family friendly. So we wanted that to be the presence in the front, and then this little hidden gem of a bar in the back that's super chill, not as sceney as a lot of stuff going on in Ballard.
It is a chill spot. There's a lot of chatter about your guys' place on the internet. And the one thing I kept hearing over and over is about the smoker. Now, this was a custom-built smoker, Grant. And so I just want to know, what's different about your smoker compared to, like, if I went down to Home Depot or something and grabbed a smoker from there?
Well, it's about 10 times the size.
Nice.
And
because size matters.
it does. It does.
Okay, right, Lisa?
Yes, size always matters.
Good.
So it's got 5 rotating racks inside that constantly rotate the meat throughout. It's basically a giant convection oven that introduces wood smoke.
Okay.
Built in Missouri. We had it built to the specifications of the restaurant. Being in Ballard, it's very long, narrow space, so we didn't have a ton of room to fit a traditional smoker in it. We had to have them put the doors on the side as opposed to the end of the smoker like they normally do.
Right.
And it's just it's a company that I feel really good about.
Nice. And one thing I noticed when I went in there, which I thought was really cool, is sauces. I'm a big sauce guy. I know that Slick and Donald, when they go out to get their barbecue on, you got to have good sauce, right? And within that, you got the mustard sauce, the sweet sauce, the hot sauce, and the vinegar-based sauce. Is that correct?
It is.
It's spicy vinegar-based, right?
It is.
So who was the design of the sauces? Could I tell you one thing? I don't like much mustard sauce. I can't find good mustard sauce in the South or in Seattle. But man, your northern style mustard sauce was amazing.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of it. Something I just worked on over a couple of years, and I really found a mustard sauce that I love. The sweet sauce is my sous chef John actually helped me a lot with developing that sauce.
Nice, that's a good sauce.
Yeah,
that's a good sauce. And I think that are they going to bottle that up soon? Because I need to take that home.
Yeah.
We're working on it. It's quite the process
It
to
is.
get the bottling going, and especially at the small level that we're at. But that's certainly the direction we're going for the next year in terms of marketing, is really getting that nailed out and getting that going.
Cool.
Along with our Bloody Mary mix, too.
Oh, yes, the famous Bloody Marys. Now, I have not been there for Bloody Mary time, but I'm planning on it soon.
You get bacon.
Huh?
You get bacon. What's a Bloody Mary?
That's a good thing.
And
Bacon should be everything.
all the time is Bloody Mary
Is it-
time.
Is all the time Bloody Mary time?
Yeah. Isn't it maple glazed bacon?
It
yeah.
is,
Yeah.
yep.
When I was there yesterday, I was like,
It's a maple bacon jerky.
yeah.
Wow.
So good. So
That's
good.
That's amazing. And so, let's cut to the chase a little bit about barbecue. Let's just get down to the bits. Grant, there's brisket, there's ribs, there's sausage, there's pork. I mean, what is it, man? What if I went to the Bitterroot tomorrow morning with a big-time Top Chef player, what would you put on our plate? What would it be?
I would probably start you out with, we have buffalo-style chicken livers on the appetizer
Ooh, wait
menu
a
that I
minute.
really like. And then
Where was that on the menu? I missed that one.
it's in the appetizer section. And then we have a brisket that I think is just coming out great. I really love the brisket.
Okay. I mean, Slick, what do you like when you're going to get barbecue? Are you a rib man, a brisket man? What?
I'm heavy on the sauce. I like a lot of sauce on my ribs.
Right?
So,
You're more of a St. Louis man. Put the
yeah.
sauce on it.
Yeah, I like that. Good,
All right.
Good different type of sauce, what makes it good.
Well, I tell you, Slick, you got to go to the Bitterroot because you know what? They get down with that sauce.
I'm gonna make sure I do that this weekend.
All
There you
right,
go.
there you go. There you go. And within that, I think this is there a reason why there's not more barbecue joints in Seattle or successful joints? Is barbecue that difficult?
It definitely is a process.
It is a process.
It's not something that it just happens. It was a long process, especially even once we got the smoker.
Mm-hmm.
It worked so much different as just from a backyard smoker that it took a
little time to.
It did. It took time to adjust to it.
Right. And can you tell me, a lot of people try to smoke. I got a lot of buddies who call me, text me. I got folks who, once they heard that you guys were calling on the show, they're like, hey, ask them the question. And what's the key? Is it the rub? Is it the wood?
It's a whole combination of things.
Or is it the whole combination?
And time.
And time. So then where would if I was a newbie to smoking and I want to do a pork butt, where would I begin? Do I need to have good seasoning, good rub? Do I need to call Donald? Donald, please help me.
Absolutely.
What do I got to do?
I think equipment is a good start to it. For a home smoker, I think the Weber makes a Rocky Mountain Bullet that is actually probably the best home smoker that you could get. They also make pellet smokers and stuff, which are also
They do it.
they do the job really well.
Right.
But I think that the Rocky Mountain Bullet's more of like you get a real smoke flavor on it.
The equipment, though, right off the bat. And then rub. Everyone talks about rub. Donald's aunt's got a good rub. I got a good rub. But, what's the backbone of a good rub?
The balance of sweet and salty, like everything.
Sweet and salty. And what would you say that would be if I was, trying to figure out what seasoning to give me a sweet and salty? Would it be actually salt or?
Yeah, I use kosher salt for everything, but that's just a preference of mine from working in fine dining for a long time. I think like a 2-to-1 sweet to salty. It's a good start with pork. On beef, I think it goes good just 50-50, like salt and pepper.
Break down the beef a little bit more. And when you're cooking ribs and cooking brisket and so on, there's a process. There's some length. The old school cats used to smoke ribs and drink bourbon all day long, and I still do that once in a while when my wife isn't looking. But, on that note, it's a process. Would you say a brisket's about a 6 to 8 hour process or maybe even longer?
We actually go 16 hours on a brisket.
Ooh, man,
Wow.
now you're talking. Now you're talking.
That's some time.
That's time. And so then, because you guys are open from lunchtime until late night, 7 days a week, and barbecue late night.
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's going great. We're serving food till 1 a.m. The bar's open until 2 every day. We're getting a really good industry crowd coming in.
Coming in just a slap,
Yeah.
They just got off shift and
They want some barbecue.
They don't want to have to have fried food.
And it's late night happy hour too. So you have the early and the late night happy hour.
We actually don't. No,
Yeah.
just the early happy hour right now.
That's a great happy hour.
I like that. It's a great happy hour. And so, as things go forward, and as the Bitterroot is working, I know we've heard there hasn't been much time for free time. When do you get vacation owning your own business like this? When is free time?
We keep trying to plan it.
Right?
Yeah. We keep trying to plan it and we keep moving it.
Do you wave by each other as you're going down the hallway? Honey, love your kisses? Is it that hard?
Most of the time.
All right.
Especially the first couple of months, I was there around 5 in the morning. Hannah was getting home at about 4, so we were chips in the night. For sure.
With a 10-hour overlap.
Wow. That's how it works, right?
Yep.
That's how it works. Now, one thing is, when you go to the Bitterroot, most of the meats are unsauced, which I think is fun. Is that, now, have you heard people say, I'd like to have it sauced beforehand, or are people now adapting to the way you're doing it? Because
I think people are enjoying what we're doing.
Okay.
I like to just have the sauce on the table just because I don't feel the need to hide the meat, and also I want to give people the option.
Right. Now, and that being said, Hannah, would you guys say that you're more North Carolina or St. Louis or Texas? I mean, there's a lot of different areas of barbecue in this country.
There is a ton of different areas, and I would like to think that we're whittling away at Northwest style.
Northwest style?
Yeah, so I think the
catfish?
We actually, catfish just is going on the menu this week.
You're talking my language.
Yeah, but I think the most important thing, regionally speaking, is the wood choice.
Okay.
So you need to use the wood that's local to your region. So for us, it's applewood.
Right.
So we have definitely a lot lighter, sweeter smoke on all of our meat compared to any of those other regions that you're speaking about that are doing hickory and mesquite.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And so then, Grant, when you were getting this rolling, outside of cooking at your restaurant, at your house, sitting in the backyard with a cold beer and some bourbon, did you go anywhere to like check out barbecue joints or eat barbecue joints? I mean, where did you hide out at?
Well, that's been a lifetime of, research.
I know you got some spots. I mean, is there a favorite?
Right now, my favorite barbecue in Seattle is mine.
Oh, right.
But,
there you go.
We've been around. We've tried them all.
Yeah, we ate Roro's Stoneway for a while there.
Just to check it out, get an idea.
Check it out. But we ate everywhere, and we ate all the barbecue in Seattle before opening, and we've definitely traveled a lot and lived in a lot of different regions as well. So we've been eating barbecue for a while.
It's been a long time plan then. All right. So then, when is Bitterroot going to go? Is there another number 2 coming? Are you coming to West Seattle? Are you going to be up on the hill on Capitol Hill? Are you going to be in the university?
There's definitely another restaurant in our future, whether it's Bitterroot or not, is another question.
Oh, there's another concept.
So
can I get the in on it?
Not currently.
Come on, Greg. You're holding out.
Get us back after vacation when we've cleared our minds and are ready to take on another one.
I keep hearing about this vacation thing. I mean, do you get the ballot? I mean, you're from T-Town.
Yeah.
I mean, do you and your lady friend and the cat ever get up to Seattle?
Not the cat, but I like to hang out in Seattle, and I especially like Ballard, so I'm definitely going to try this out. Oh, they brought in some food. I don't know if we mentioned that. People could hear the sounds of us enjoying it here in the studio, but I had a sandwich that they brought in that was one of the most amazing things I've ever eaten, so I definitely got to check out this restaurant.
I tell you, the food is good. I mean, you guys got to give it a shot. Give us a call at 425-373-5527. Say hello to the people from Bitterroot. I mean, they brought some gift certificates in today. They want to give them away. They want to sit and hang out with you. You got to check out the Bitterroot. It's up there in Ballard, and they're doing some magical stuff. I really think that before I know, there's going to be more Bitterroots, I hope. In West Seattle, just a block from my house would be preferable.
I'm curious about the name Bitterroot. Where does that come from?
We went to college in Montana, University of Montana in Missoula. We did a lot of fly fishing together, and Bitterroot was actually the river that we enjoyed the most. But it's also the state flower of Montana, a mountain range that goes south out of Missoula, and the valley there is also called Bitterroot.
Yeah, and we opened 10 years to almost the date when we met, so it was kind of a nice nod to the beginning as well of where we started from and the next 10 years of our lives here in
Good for
Ballard.
you guys.
Fantastic.
Congratulations.
That's love right there. That's love.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming on. Well, folks, if you heard, man, the Bitterroot up in Ballard, go check it out. It's Jopra approved. We get there at least every couple of weeks now to get our barbecue on. And see Hannah run on the floor. She does her thing. And then sit back in a little small bar. Have a little bourbon. Have some ribs and some brisket. And catfish is coming.
Yep.
Catfish is coming.
Yummy.
Coming up next, folks, on the Jopra Show, the Watts family going to be in town. I got the legendary Slick Watts and Mr. All-American himself here. Donald Watts is going to be in a show here on the Jopra Show. We're going to go right to commercial. We'll be right back.
ID in the D in the SEA. You know ID in the D in the town all day. ID in the D in the SEA.
Known for her practical wisdom and deep connections, show host Debbie Whitlock can now be heard twice each week. Fridays at 9 a.m. for Femme Finance, and now Tuesdays at 9 a.m. for Femination. 2 shows, 2 hours, dedicated to creating the prosperity and good fortune you deserve.
While cutting molding with a 12-inch dual compound miter saw, while holding a newborn baby in your arms, when face-to-face with a congregation of alligators, with the ball in your hands and the entire freaking season on the line.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting. So why would you do it while driving? NASCAR driver Casey Kane here, asking you to please stop the text. And together, we can stop the wrecks.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Get the message at stoptextstopwrecks.org.
Gather up your friends, kids, and favorite canine companions and join Alternative Talk 1150 at the 21st anniversary of Paws Walk, Saturday, September 8th at Marymore Park in Redmond. There's a 5K walk through a beautiful park, a kids zone, agility demonstrations, fly ball demos, shopping, contests, and lots of free samples. Your participation benefits Paws and will help save the lives of animals in the community. Be sure to stop by the KK&W table and say hello while you're there. That's the 21st anniversary of Paws Walk, Saturday, September 8th at Marymore Park.
My name is John Ellsworth, and I lost my son, Lance Corporal Justin Ellsworth, in Iraq 8 years ago. I'm here to tell you about the National Gold Star Family Registry, a unique virtual memorial to honor America's heroes. The registry preserves the memory of my son and the 500,000 American heroes who have lost their lives in battle since World War II. You can help preserve the memories of these heroes. Text registry to 85944 now.
A public service message from Military Families United. Find out more by logging on to goldstarfamilyregistry.com.
Tell your friends the place to be is Alternative Talk 1150 AM.
Vinny Askew, Lenny Wilkins, Vernon Maxwell, Gus Williams, Dale Ellis, Slick Watts, Ray Allen, Sam Perkins, Downtown, Freddie Brown, Ricky Pierce, John Dennis.
Welcome back, folks, to the Jopra Show, and we are getting down to the Slick Watts video by Blue Scholar and his truly, Mr. Slick Watts. But let's just start a little history real quick before we get to the legendary himself. 1974, Xavier University, undrafted by any team, and then a phone call came from Xavier U to a friend of his cousin, Mr. Bill Russell, at that time GM and head coach of the Supersonics, said, I got a cat that needs to come play ball. So they make some moves. They get this guy up there, Slick Watts, starts as a reserve and works his way onto the team at 75, hanging out, running the point with the main man, you know, my shooter, Fred Brown, my boy. We go back since 63. And so then, boom. It starts. It begins. In 76, he was voted Man of the Year of Seattle. He's most polarizing Sonic, I believe, myself and many others, that Seattle Supersonics has had, period. Also this routine. There's only one person who has not been retired that deserves to be retired already, and that's my man Slick Watts, in studio today on the Jopra Show with his son. The legendary University of Washington captain of the team, big ball player, played in Europe, did a little tryouts. Outside of losing to me in Horace back in 78, he's a pure shooter. So I'd like to welcome Slick Watts and Donald Watts. Welcome to the Jopra Show, fellas.
Hey, thank you. We're happy to be here.
Pleasure.
Slick, I'm just going to get, we got lots to cover, so we're going to get right after it. You know, let's start with the headband. The one thing that my buddies texted me over last couple of days is ask Slick where the headband thing started.
Started in college. I tried white tape. And, Joe, you don't want to put white tape around your head. Once the game is over, your skin come with the tape. So I had to look. I went downtown to New Orleans, and I looked everywhere, and I found one headband in the whole city. And I dyed it black, and I started to wear it because I sweated a lot. And it got to be pretty popular, and I got so when I tried to stop wearing it, my coaches wouldn't let me stop because he says good luck or bad luck. So it's been, 42 years a headband.
Wow. Well, I tell you this, Slick. I go way back, like many others, and we all can remember the days of seeing Slick Watts coming to our schools, Slick Watts being on TV. And I say this, Slick. I mean, you were back in the day, the era of the Coliseum. And, you know, rumors have it, and I did some research on you. Rumors have it you and Fred used to play a little horse together. Because back in those days, horse was sort of a big thing with all the ballers. And some people tell me that Fred would take you to the house on that, and others would tell you that you were a little better horse player than he was. Who wins that?
Well, Joe, when it come to trick shots, I thought I was the best. But as you know, there's no one in the history of the game can shoot better than Fred. Fred is the premier shooter. But I thought I had more tricks up my sleeves, bouncing the ball off the floor, shooting backwards, and shooting over the back of the backboard. But if you gave Fred an open shot,
boom,
and he'd take you out by that 3-point line, it was it was his turn.
It was his turn.
So what I tried to make sure I stayed the first shot. So because if I give him the shot, he never did miss.
And, Slick, you saw Fred back in the day. You saw Dale Ellis back in the day. And you saw Ray. I mean, who was the best shooter we ever had at the Sonics? Who was the best pure shooter? Outside of your son, of course.
Don't get in no trouble.
I had thought Fred was one of the better shooters, but when it come to legs, straight up, net not moving, long distance, Dale Ellis just could stand up and the net didn't move. I mean, he was 6'7", and he drilled it to the net. Fred was more a hide behind the pick type of shooter, but Dale, with his size, he could really shoot it. And as you know, Ray can shoot it. So you named 3 guys who I think will go down in history, along with Kerry Murphy, is one of the top 4 shooters in the history of the NBA.
Right.
Is he running? Is he a politician?
Right now,
he didn't give you an answer.
He just said, "Well."
He just kind of like it all.
He's working all angles here because he's going. His phone is going to blow up here soon from Fred right away.
All 4 of those guys were perfect shooters.
All right. And let's, Donald, let me ask you a question. I mean, you got to grow up with just not anybody. Your dad just wasn't some teacher, some guy in the fireman. It was Slick Watts. How was that? Growing up with the king.
It was anybody,
right?
No. It was special. We were late a lot of places. When we went to the mall to get shopping or get shoes, it took a couple extra hours because he always stopped and greeted everybody and signed every autograph. And it was annoying at times as a kid, but as you get older, you really appreciate who he is. You appreciate what he's done for the city. You also, like all those guys that you just named, I had the opportunity to grow up with and shoot with in the gym and really learn how to shoot the basketball, how to play basketball the right way. And now, we have an opportunity to have a business teaching those same lessons to kids. So it's awesome.
Right. And they're talking a little bit about Watts basketball, and we'll come to that here down the road because I got lots of questions today. We're going to get serious now. But, Slick, let me say this to you. I mean, when the team made that run in 78, 79 with the Bullets back-to-back, I mean, I believe you were in Houston at that time. Was that right?
Well, I got traded there in 78, January 4th.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget that day.
Who did they trade you for?
To New Orleans for a number one draft pick.
And how was that?
To me, it was back in those days. It was something that I wanted because I was a good player, and we had a change of horses, as far as I was concerned. When Coach came in, and Gus was a good friend of mine, and DJ, we was loaded in the backcourt.
Okay.
And Coach Wilkins came in, and my coach, my favorite coach, Bob Hopkins,
good old Bob,
got fired.
Right.
And then me being the top player on the team at that time, they, did a Hasselback clean house.
Ouch. Oh, wow. Ouch.
So, how it is when you get a different coach. And I was a top player, so they was able to get a number one draft pick for me at that time. And so they sent me to New Orleans.
Right.
It was different.
Sure.
Because I had played with all those guys, and I had beat them down a lot in practice. And we had a good time, and to see them go that far, and I knew my abilities, and I knew what I used to do to them every day.
Every day.
And then to sit back and watch them, I said, "Boy, just missed it."
Just missed it, huh?
Just missed it. But I had a good time, doing my thing, and that's some of the things you just said earlier. I had a good time coming from nowhere.
Sure.
And get a chance to get my feet wet and feel how it feel to be like hang out with Ali, Will Chamberlain, people like that.
Right.
So me being a country boy, I was like in seventh heaven. Get a chance to show my stuff.
You heard him smacking on those ribs earlier.
I know he was smacking them too.
He's a country boy.
You got some more? You got some more, Hannah? You got some more? I mean, and at that time, on the 79 time, on the championship time, I mean, let's ask the big questions. I mean, retirement numbers in play. Nate's got his number done. Lenny, Jack, Gus, Bob, Fred, all got their numbers retired except for Slick.
Well,
is there an itch there like, hey, come on?
Well, in a way, I look at it two ways. In a way, it's a blessing not to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I always be a thought of a conversation. Secondly, I know it's about timing. the new owner, if we get the team back, he's a Slick Watts fan, so maybe he might do it. I think it's really based on the owner,
right,
more than anything.
Sure.
And at that time, when they traded me, it was too late to come back and retire my number because they had traded me. And Nate and people like that was in with with different owners.
Sure.
And I think that's the key, to be in tight with the owner.
Mm-hmm.
And I already planted my seed with Mr. Hansen. And if we can get this team back,
right,
I'm sure Chris would put some flowers on my grave.
Right. I got a question. I got a call in from our friend Scooch. I wants to ask you a quick question. Scooch, you there, buddy?
I am here from the mouth of the Columbia River.
You had a question for Slick? Go ahead, shoot.
Yes, I did. I wanted to know if Marvin Webster was really a human eraser.
He could block shots with the best, and God bless his soul. When I heard that he had passed, along with people like Dennis Johnson, I had to pull over. I couldn't drive for like 20 minutes. I couldn't believe it. He could block shots from anywhere. A great personality. He truly missed in this world. Yeah, he could really block shots.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking my call.
Thanks, Scooch. Thanks for calling in. Slick, on that note also, you got to play with a lot of great players. And there's some interesting statistics. And I did a little history background, a little check-in on the Sonics, and just said, how far were Slick sort of just known all time? And I didn't realize you averaged 2.47 steals per game. Only person had more steals than you was Gary Payton.
Right.
But who was the better defender? Let's just get to the chase. Was it the glove or was it Slick Watts?
Well, the glove talked more trash than I did, without a doubt.
But I've heard. Your son tells me that you're one of the greatest talk trashers of all time.
Oh, he talks some trash.
So you just say that about GP. I'm thinking more and more that.
No, I think G talks a little bit more trash than I did, but I respect GB a lot because he got real good size.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't realize he's about 6'4",
right,
almost 6'5".
Right.
And for a big man like that to squat and get in a defensive position, I got a lot of respect for that. And I was a 6 footer, and
on a good day.
Well, on a good day, my genes was made for defense. And when I was young, I thought I was the quickest person ever lived.
Right.
And I had that determination. And Bill Russell didn't allow me to shoot, so I had to play defense so I could get me 12 or 13 points.
Sure.
So I had to take the ball from you, Joe, at least 6 times so I could get me some baskets.
I understand, Slick. I guarantee you, though, you never got the ball from me, Slick. Never, no.
You did a Fred over me, you'd have shot it.
Hey, me and Fred go way back. I told you, I beat him a horse.
Yeah.
And I think that. GP is, yes, GP is GP. But let's move forward. Come up on 3 years ago. 4 years ago, the announcement's been made. Sonics are moving. Donald, you grew up with Sonics just like myself. What was going on with you, and what was the family talking about when the Sonics was leaving?
We were all in disbelief. For us, obviously, I grew up with a personal relationship with the Sonics and with the players for the Sonics, and but also for the community, all the kids in the community that weren't going to have the opportunity to grow up with a professional basketball team here, knowing how ingrained in the community all the Sonics teams had been, how much inspiration they had given people as far as staying in school, and just me and all of my friends, that's what we did. Friday nights, Sonics game kept people off the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Kept kids off the streets. We really lost a staple in the community, and I know adults, and we have our feelings and our emotions about it, but my biggest thing was for the impact on the kids in the community. Both me and my father work in the inner city. He's been working at Martin Luther King Elementary for I don't know how long. He's been in the school district as a PE teacher for a long time. He was Jason Terry's PE teacher and stuff like that. So it's been a minute, and really that's the biggest impact that we really felt. Obviously for ourselves, selfishly, but for the overall community, it's a huge loss.
Right, and it was a big loss. But then there's this guy. There's this sort of one day just sort of sends out a quick email blast that, hey, I got a few $100 million.
So let's make something happen.
Let's make something happen. And Hannah, I don't know if you've been around when the Sonics were in their prime. I don't know if you guys were here at that time. Were you?
Yeah.
And you know how it works then. If the Sonics are playing well, the city's on fire.
They got the fever.
They got the fever. And I say this, I mean, how you guys feel about Chris Henson bringing back the Sonics? I know it's a good thing, but what do you think about Chris Henson?
Well, my personal feeling, I just think that it's a blessing. And I know the city, the King County, the people that can't believe a person can be so real. And as you know, when they built the Seahawks in the Maryland Stadium, they sneaked it on the people, their taxes.
Sure.
But here's a man saying that, hey, I got $300 million to get it started,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna pay the rest of it off on revenues, other business. And I think they were a little afraid. It's just so good they couldn't believe it. But
Too good to be true.
Yeah, too good to be true. But I had dinner with him a few times, and he loves the game, and he loves the city.
Sure.
He really loves being a place at state of Washington.
Right.
Went to Roosevelt High School, and I can understand his passion to bring the team back here.
Oh, he
and
definitely does.
If I had his check, I'd be doing the same thing.
Right. If you had his check.
He's a real smooth guy.
Right.
And obviously what he's doing for the community and what he's trying to do for the community, for himself, to get a team back here is awesome. He's had a profound impact on my dad. You hear how he's talking?
I know.
He done smoothed it out.
Sure did.
Every time he gets on the radio, he's talking about the Sonics. He gets his Chris Hansen on now.
Right. They were
real smooth. Before Chris Hansen got to town, he talked a little faster and a little more country.
Sure. Well, for those who don't know, I watched Chris Henson come in and have dinner at the Toulouse one evening, and Slick walked in a few minutes behind, and they sat down, and for like an hour, it was, I wish I had it mic'd up, because it was a great hour of sports talk. It was a great hour of just chemistry, and Slick had Chris in the palm of his hand before the day was over. And speaking of that, Slick, if the team came back, and I might say to him, when the team comes back, is there going to be a role for Slick Watts?
Well, I would hope so, Joe. My role, I think, basically would be, I think I would continue to do what I do now, work in the community.
Sure.
And just with the watch basketball, we just have Sonics watch basketball.
Right.
And something that I won't have to change, and just have a blessing from Chris,
Mm-hmm.
and continue to go to schools and train and make speaking engagements and eat good steak and potatoes at banquets. And, like I tell people say, Slick, why you do these things? You go to so many charities. I say, hey, man, I don't have to cook. I don't have to wash no dishes.
Meal.
Yeah, all I have to do is show up
Right.
and eat and smile and be nice to people. Then people are nice to you and hear good old stories. And people always tell me about the birthday parties. I used to come to their kids when they was growing up.
Sure.
So it's fun. It's fun to be it's fun to be Slick Watts in Seattle.
Sure it is. And and if you love to eat, you just got to go to Ballard tonight, because the hookup is in play.
Yeah.
Right?
I can't hardly wait to get these ribs.
Right. And speaking of little business, I got to ask Hannah, you're a small business person owning a restaurant. What's your feel about the whole arena and Chris Hansen coming through?
Love Seattle sports.
100%.
So bring it back. It's great for all of us in the community as well. For
Sure.
other restaurants,
Sure.
other restaurants as well. We all benefit from that, and brings up the spirit of the city. So
It will.
It's great.
It will. It will. Let's talk a little current. Let's move to the day, the now. Now, for those who don't know, if you go to wattsbasketball.com, you'll see a website of Slick and Donald. Donald heading this whole thing, and what they're doing is youth training. Camps, lots of camps, all through the summer, winter, and fall. And Donald, I wanted you to sort of just tell us a little bit about what's going on with Watts Basketball.
We've been doing Watts Basketball for 5 years now, but this is really an extension of the work that's been done in the community by my dad since the 70s. So, very experienced. We have a passion for kids. We have a passion for basketball, and really just trying to help the basketball community understand what's going on out there, to provide a positive experience for kids, where they can really, what we look for is not only to teach basketball, but to teach passion for basketball.
Sure.
That's one of the things that I got from my father, is to play with a passion, and the passion for development. # Get Better Daily is our slogan. World-class basketball training.
and we do it. We love it. You know, you come to the gym. We have advanced skills training. We have essential skills training. We do schools out, day camps, and clinics. It's the best place to be during spring break, winter break, teachers in service days, all of those things. So get on the website, check us out. Kids absolutely love it. We absolutely love hanging out with the kids.
No, it's true. And, you know, I went to the site. I've talked to a lot of people about it. There's a lot of great things going on. I mean, I see Slick give a lot of motivational talks. You too, Donald. Tell me, though, a little bit of this. Let me ask you guys a question. You know, my sons are in sports and so many others. I mean, basketball is a big mecca right now for Seattle. Right. I mean, Seattle is starting to land a lot of players in the professional sport world, especially in the NBA. You know, is this the process now? Is this where it goes now? Do we need to, our kids go segue into the Watts basketball camp? Do you got to go through these things? Compared to back in our days, we just sort of went down to the Y or went to Green Lake and just sort of work on our game a little bit.
I think it's very important to train, to put your kids in a program like ours, because we try to get every kid a chance to develop in his own skin. Mm-hmm. We don't look for the best kid or the kid that going to go pro or the kids that got all the talent going to go AU. We try to tell every kid can get an opportunity and be the best they can be in their own skin. And I was a victim of that. I thought I could play baseball, but everybody kept telling me I wasn't going to make basketball, but I always trained, worked hard, and then I got lucky. And we always tell every kid it's possible if you come out and have fun first and enjoy yourself. And we encourage all the parents to bring their kids out and don't worry about how much talent this kid got.
Right.
This kid going to have a good time learning his own ability.
That's what it's all about.
Right.
And Donald, what age groups is at the camp? I mean, is it 3 to high school?
We different camps.
Sure.
Our regular camps, our schools out camps are 2nd through 8th grade. And then we do some advanced skill stuff for like 7th grade and up, more competitive players, middle school kids, high school, college, all of those things. What we really stress is, my dad touched on it, is really the intangibles that come along with playing sports, period.
Sure.
Confidence, self-esteem, and really providing the kid an outlet. And we also promote, you know, one of the things that you touched on that's been lost is kids spending their own time playing basketball. That's one of the things that we really promote. We try to give them the drills and the things that they can do, and then give them a platform so they can go spend that time by themselves.
Right.
A lot of what's going on, sometimes parents are making huge investments for kids to play on competitive teams, and they expect a return. Mm-hmm. That return comes with pressure.
Sure.
And then it takes some of the joy out of the game for the kids, and we want to make sure that the kids really have that joy, and it's something that they continue to do. A lot of kids are gravitating towards skateboarding and bicycling and X Games, different kind of things. Mm-hmm. And it's really because the parents aren't involved in that.
Sure.
So they get to go have their free time and free place. And I was the son I am the son of a former Sonic. And most of my hours were spent on the basketball court by myself. Mm-hmm. You know, we would spend some time. He would show me things, and then as a kid, when I had stress or different things going on, and I still do it. You know, if I'm dealing with stuff with business, I just go shoot jumpers. Mm-hmm. By myself, or I call a friend. I just go shoot jumpers, and that's the thing that we want to get back into the game.
Sure.
Obviously we have a business and we charge fees or whatever, but what we're really promoting is the essence of basketball. And to really be a good basketball player, first you got to love it, and then second you got to spend time doing it.
Right. And that's the thing. You got to spend the time.
Right.
No matter what. If you're playing hoops, you got to spend the time. Anytime. Donald, on that note also, with the things going on nowadays with so much sports and how competitive it is, and basketball being very high, very competitive, do we, as parents, this question, do we think, is there something else that we should be telling our kids about the sport? Or should we actually put it in your hands and say, hey, go to camps? I mean, or a little bit of both. I mean, I have a lot of parents asking me questions like, should he go to this camp? Should he participate in this thing? Well, I mean, what's your thought on that? Because a lot of parents, there's so much going on, we sort of get lost in what to do, which way to go with our kids when it comes to a sports thing.
It's a combination of both things. Sending them to camp, getting them on some competitive teams when they're ready. I think one of the things that is done too much is you have to find the right programs for your kids, their fit, their personality, all of those things. The last thing that a kid wants to do is be in a high-pressure situation where they don't have the skills to accomplish whatever the expectations are. That's a terrible situation for anybody to be in. And I think sometimes parents are allured by the jersey of a program or who else is in the gym and all of these different things, and not really considering, okay, what's the best fit? It's the same thing when I'm talking to my high school players that are trying to pick colleges. That Division I school might not necessarily be the best place. The best place might not be Kentucky. It's not the best place. The UW is. But no, but it's really not the biggest and best. But like, who are your kids around? What are the coaches promoting? Are we all about winning and losing? Are we about development? And all of those things have a place. It's just making sure that the parents do their due diligence before they write their check.
Right. Right. And I say this. I mean, you're listening to the Jopra Show. If you just joined us, we got in the legendary Slick Watts and his great son, Donald Watts, in here, causing some trouble. We did a little barbecuing a little earlier with the people from Bitterroot. But, Donald, let me say this then. I mean, if my son is just pretty good, right? And he just pretty good. And he just thinks like, I'm just going to go play. Would it be good for me to bring him to the best camps? Would it be good for me to not bring him to any camps at all? I mean, what's your thought about, this whole thing?
Well, as a parent, what I would say is measure his enthusiasm.
Sure.
And really measure the success of anything that he's doing by his enthusiasm and his willingness to get out there and do it on his own, or his desire to go to camps and do different things.
Right.
Now, I say that I'm also a parent of two, and I tell my kids sometimes that you don't have to do this, but you're going to have to do something.
Sure. Something.
And, you're going to do something.
Got something.
Pick something.
Pick something.
And this right here is right in front of you.
Right.
And if you don't come up with something fast,
then you're gonna
this is what it's going to be.
Then you're going to go down to the Bitterroot. They're going to start rubbing some meat because that's all you get. I mean, that's a good point.
So, and then, when the deal is over, one of the things I see with kids a lot is hilarious is when we do camps. That first day when they're dropped off, they're holding on to mom's leg or holding on to dad's leg and they're crying and they're upset and mom and dad walks out the door and 10 minutes later they're jumping and high-fiving their friends, they're meeting new friends, they're having a great day. Then parent comes back at the end of the day and they're crying and they're parents like, oh, he said this happened. And it was like, what? We've been laughing, having a great time the whole day. So also, be smarter than your kids. Don't get duped by your kids sometimes. What we've started doing is you can follow us on Facebook at Watts Basketball, and during camp, so the kids can't get home and lie to their parents, you can check in on what's going on.
Nice.
And you can see. You can see the kids at camp high-fiving and running around and making baskets and cheering. So when they get home and say, I don't want to go back, you can say, oh, no.
It was a good time.
Yeah, I saw the picture of you and Slick Watts high-fiving.
Sure. And Slick, these kids walk in and see you at the camp. They're probably like, who is this dude?
They know, because he looks like a cartoon character.
Sure. But what's the message, Slick? What's the message that you tell the boys when you tell these campers? What's the message when they walk away?
Well, the two things I always do, and I always do this because a lot of the kids are 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 years old. They wasn't born at that time when I was the man, as I say. But what I always do, and I look at them, I say, I know you're wondering who I am, but you ever heard of Google? And I'm not a computer guy. So I said, you got to Google me. And when you come back to tomorrow, you got to let me know who I am. So they all, when I walk in the gym the next day, they all have these paper. And they say, you did this, and you was a man of the year. And you was a freshly leaking assist.
And you had some short shorts.
Yeah, some short shorts. And then sometimes they'll tell me, and they say, I would say, well, you named the best 2 awards that I ever had in my life that I appreciated. And then they'll come back and say, I think it was that when you made All-Pro and you helped the community. And then I always liked that one. Because then the 7 and 8-year-old kids
the J. Walter Kennedy Citizenship Award.
Yeah, so they always read me that one. So I always smile when I get that one.
Even if they don't know who he is, they know who he is when he walks in the gym. You see the sweatsuit he has on? He's got hundreds. He's got sunglasses to match. He comes in with the sunglasses and the headband tilted to the side.
If you go to the Facebook today on the Jopra Show, you'll see the picture of Slick, dude up in his green Adidas Slick Watts outfit, but with no headband.
No headband. No headband.
I'll go get some white duct tape if we need to make that work. Right? We can go from there. So let's talk a little bit about community here before we get out here and what's going on. I mean, Sean Kemper's got his restaurant. Gary Payton back. I mean, is it with the Sonics leaving? Was there sort of like, did you guys get together and say, hey, we need to get more back? Or these guys already, I know you already in place slick, but it seemed like everybody sort of came back home quickly once the Sonics left.
Most of the guys have been here. A lot of the guys that have played for the Sonics, I mean, the team left, but the guys that, Fred Brown, my father, Dean Tolson, a lot of Jack. I mean, this is it's Seattle.
It's Seattle.
Once you live in Seattle, you always make your way back to Seattle.
Right, because I mean, Sean's here, and then is Sam Perkins got a place here still too?
No, Sam. He comes in town a lot though. Yeah,
okay.
He loves it here. Everybody loves it here. I'm not Miss Seattle. This is a great place. Even in the rain.
Right. So then, so if we went to the Watts house, for a Sunday barbecue, and we're on that theme today, who would be cooking?
Well, I'll tell you this, and we were talking about smoking earlier.
Right.
I don't give him a lot of credit for a lot of things. Hey, this cat can smoke a turkey that'll have you chewing your fingers off.
We're going to talk about Slick Watts turkey sandwich with them. And we're going to do a little Watts Foundation contribute $1 off every turkey sandwich to the foundation, and y'all keep the rest.
The turkey is to die for.
Really?
Yeah. I gave him the secret, though.
What was that?
I can't. It was
Come
the
on.
secret.
Just give me a little bit.
No, it was the secret.
Come on, a little bit.
The turkey is moist.
Just a touch.
And we were Thanksgiving, and I can't stand dry. Turkeys dry out.
Sure.
So I gave him a little something. I said, "Hey, try this." He tried it, and the rest is history.
Okay. Well, you're going to have to talk with Grant and Hannah because they're going to need to know.
Sounds like a tasty brine, my friend. Tasty brine.
That's it. Well, I can't thank you guys both enough to coming on today. I do know that there'll be more down the road. Chris Henson wants to do some stuff up here. And so once the deal's done and the arena goes in play, we're going to definitely get you guys back in studio and talk about the next big step for the Supersonics. Okay. Slick and Donald, man, thank you.
We'll see you at the Bitter Root.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to hit the Bitter Root.
Toulouse.
That's it, all spots. Well, folks, as you heard today on the Jopra Show, we talked to barbecue right off the bat. And I tell you, if you get to the Bitter Root, you're going to get down. Coming soon at the Bitter Root, there'll be the Slick Watts turkey sandwich and the bourbon cocktail and a lot more happening there at the Bitter Root in Ballard. So I want to thank Hannah and Grant Carter for coming in. Thank you. And also you got to hear from the legend himself. I mean, I'm giddier more than I sound because it's just great to have somebody like this with so much class and for the community here today with Slick Watts and Donald Watts. Thanks, guys, for coming in. And go to wattsbasketball.com. That's where you'll find their campsite. And Bitter Root has their own website at bitterroot.com. You can go check their stuff out. And they do catering, they told me. So they're going to be at my house next week in West Seattle. Coming up next week.
So will I.
All right, coming up next week on the Jopra Show, I'm bringing in a New Yorker. His name is Scott Smith. Scott Smith is about to launch the Q. It's a very big, brand new high-end nightclub on Capitol Hill up on Broadway. So he's going to be joining us to talk about the Q. And also, it's fantasy football time. And for those who don't know Joe Genoa, he is all about fantasy football. And so I'm bringing in the guru, Nick the Quick. This guy's an under-the-table blogger who just sort of hangs out and talks football. And him and I are going to talk about fantasy football here on the Jopra Show. But last but not least, I wanted to say this. I've been blessed after many years to be with a wonderful lady. And last night, my wife and I celebrated our 3rd anniversary. And at that time, we opened up the envelope and we were able to find out that we're having a boy in January 11th to be exact. And I just wanted to thank her because as a husband, those are those moments that you'll always remember. And I'm blessed to say that. And I love her the most. And I just thought that today she didn't know that on the air here on the Jopra Show. I thank Eric Ryder for joining me today. And
Congratulations, Joe. That's awesome.
Thank you, sir. And I just want to tell you all, I want you to have a great week. Enjoy your time. Have some barbecue, go out to the Bitter Root, and do what they do because they do a phenomenal job. And if your sons are playing some ball and they just need to get away a little bit and go to camp.
Daughters too.
You can go down to the Watts Basketball and sign them up because it's a great thing they're doing down there. So have a great week on the Jopra Show. Lisa Martin, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. Congrats.
Thank you. And I'll see you all next week here on the Jopra Show. Have a good one.
Supersonic. Supersonic. Supersonic motivating rhymes are creating. And everybody knows that JJ Fad is devastating. We know you like a girl, so you better get sterile. Cause we are the home 96 that are rocking your world. Supersonic.